Okay, for collectors like me, let me be more clear. For obsessive, compulsive, nostalgiacs, why we collect what we collect can be self-explanatory at times. Obvious. To finish what you started 30 plus years ago, to complete the set of action figures or the toy line you never got the chance to when you were younger because your parents didn't love you enough. Or, if I'm gonna be brutally honest with myself, it's to replay and kind of role play the innocence and ecstasy of your childhood. To pretend that the magic isn't lost. No. No. It's not gone. You're right here. I'm here. You're still here. You're still here. It still fits. It still fits. My. Not gone. To desperately deny that you're no longer a child, and the only place that childhood is even allowed to remotely exist is in here, or in your basement. To defy the march of time moving forward. To reject the cold fact that childhood is over, but to soften that blow, remind yourself that the trappings of childhood aren't lost. But then back to the reasons why I collect. There are other tiers of items that have made their way into my collection and burned holes in my pockets along the way. Items whose purchase is a little bit more difficult to explain to other people, let alone myself. For example, things like this. Expensive, detailed, over-engineered figures with bullshit names. I didn't have this as a kid. I had this. But let's face it, these capture the characters that I loved so dearly as a child way better than what we got back then. Don't get me wrong, these will always be sacred to me, but some of them were absolutely f***ing ridiculous looking. Nothing at all like their on-screen characters. Let's admit it right now. Some G1 figures were shit. And what about these? I have a lot of the games that come included on these on the shelves over there. So why do I own these? Well, some of those don't want to work all the time. So I needed backups so I can get my immediate fix. Yes, I do understand how fucking dumb that is, okay? But what about the games I can't afford to have physical copies of? Do you have any idea what it costs to get a working Turbo Duo and a copy of Dracula X Rondo of Blood? So, you know, in a way, I'm kind of saving money. Right? And then there are purchases like these. Why are these here? What do these do for me? They aren't updated versions of something I was playing with as a kid. Nobody had a Sophia figure that was grappling with snake eyes in the backyard. So why? Well, as usual, let's rewind. Once upon a time, there were things called sitcoms, situational comedies, or, more specifically, a television series that involves a continuing cast of characters in a succession of comedic circumstances. Yes, I know we sort of have them today. Not necessarily better or worse, but drowned out by the rise of mockumentaries. All the network-style crime, NCIS, SUV, QVC, all the streaming f***ing baking shows, which I do kind of enjoy. And the harbinger of all that is wicked and vile in television entertainment. The rise of reality TV. Stupid bitch! But this isn't as much about the quality of what was or is available to watch. Firstly, it's about the ritual of planning your entire evening around a syndicated show that aired on a particular night at a particular time that you had no control over. Coordinating with your family and your friends to convene around a big-ass 200-pound CRT TV and have a shared experience that was satisfying, reconciling at times, and entertaining. It was a practice so fulfilling and integral to keeping the connections between people you cared about strong. It's a kind of fulfillment that's really, really tough to find in today's culture of endless streaming choices and momentary attention spans. Because it takes planning, effort, work today, even when you do sit down with friends or family to watch something together, admit it, you lose patience with what's on the screen more quickly than you used to. You start to think about what else you saw that might be available to watch on one of the other streaming services. And you spend half the fucking time looking at your phone. Speaking of which, where's my phone? It doesn't matter. So what's the point? Even things you like, you forget about almost instantly. Whether or not you agree with me on that, it's tough to overlook some of what we had on TV back then. The Facts of Life, Who's the Boss, Alf, Different Strokes, Cheers, The Jeffersons, Perfect Strangers, Married with Children, Family Matters. If you missed the TGIF glory days, TGIF. Hello. My condolences. Full House, The Wonder Years, Seinfeld for God's sakes. And those were just the ones I was partial to. The list goes on. And then there was another little show. One that, on its surface, was seemingly targeting a demographic that did not include me and had modest aspirations at best. But in spite of that, a show that became a big deal. Like 37 awards, including 11 Emmys, running for 7 seasons, 180 episodes, critically acclaimed, beloved by bamillions of primetime TV junkies, and consistently ranked in the top 10 sitcoms during its entire run. Big deal. A show focusing on 4 women negotiating the early to late autumns of their lives and always sticking their landings with a smile and together. The Golden Girls. A union of promiscuous, superficial Southern belle, a naive, jovial country gal, and an Italian mother-daughter team second to none in dry wit and cynicism. They were media darlings that were as evocative of that time and place in the 80s and early 90s as anyone. The Ghostbusters, the Goonies, the A-Team, TMNT, Voltron, these gals sat right alongside them. The show had such a spotlight on it that high-profile cameos abound routinely. Bert, Mickey, the guy from Cocoon, the guy from Double Impact, Mario, f***ing Quentin, Dick, Bob, Sonny, Alex, Leslie, and, for the time, not-so-high-profile cameos like this guy here, George. And you, DC and Marvel and the Monsterverse and all your shared universe. The Golden Girls beat you by 35 years with their Empty Nest and Nurses crossover. They were queens of the mountain, and times were good. So good, in fact, that the powers that be wouldn't let it bow out gracefully when it had run its course, and hence we got a spin-off called The Golden Palace. But we're not going to talk about that. Roll call.
Someone was actually able to deceive me once. Do tell, Rose. St. Olaf's most famous OBMAG.
What's that?
Obstetrician magician. The amazing Shapiro. But it was so confusing. It's a girl. Now it's a dove. Now it's a glass of milk. I don't know how he got her in that deck of cards. But there she was, right after the King of Hearts. Is this your baby?
Innocent, curious, oblivious in, oh my God, the St. Olaf stories.
It's like something that happened back in St. Olaf.
Oh, Rose, stop. Rose, why is it when any one of us makes an observation, the first thing we hear from you is back in St. Olaf? Did it ever occur to you that we might be sick and tired of hearing back in St. Olaf, back in St. Olaf, back in St. Olaf?
Gee, no, I never realized. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Back in that town whose name you're tired of.
Rose!
Back in St. Olaf is on par with
I'll be back.
or
Yippee-ki-yay, mother...
for taglines of the time.
Listen, if there's ever a night where you can't sleep, I'll come to your room and sing Kumbaya.
Rose, I don't know what to say. Yes, I do. Don't ever do that.
She could be the punching bag at times for the other girls, but you never ever lost sight of the fact that they cared deeply for her and wanted to protect her. A simpleton, a nitwit, but also so resilient, strong, brave, having lost her husband and uprooting her life to start anew. The most hopeful and joyful of the bunch. I wish I were Rose. The face sculpts on these are pretty exceptional. Rose's smile is her. Radiant, wholesome, but also resilient. I'm not a huge fan of the real cloth outfits. The line between adult collector figure and a doll is a very fine one, but I can make exceptions.
Oh, girls, I just had the most disturbing dream.
Oh, what was it?
Well, I was stranded on a desert island with Tom Selleck, Ted Danson, and Steve Guttenberg. 3 men and no baby. They kept passing me around and kissing me and powdering my behind.
So what was so disturbing?
Well, I woke up and I'd only gotten to sleep with Steve Gutenberg.
The party girl. Self-centered, superficial, and delusional, but also just as integral as any of them. In complete denial about her age, she's promiscuous to a ridiculous degree. Like Quagmire with more dignity.
Oh, damn it! Hey, come back!
But it provided so many awesome moments of judgment and punchlines from the other girls that her outrageous love life was a welcome constant theme.
In many ways, I feel just the way I felt when I was a virgin.
You mean the feeling isn't going to last long?
Are you implying I lost my virginity at an early age?
I'm just saying you're lucky Jack and Jill magazine didn't have a gossip column. Please, Pussycat, I'm on a roll.
I'm sorry, Sophia, but I'm not going to let your skepticism ruin my entire evening. Mel and I were meant to be together.
I wish I could say the same for your thighs.
Pageantry and a self-awareness in the expression. She looks a bit mannequin-ish, but I don't think Blanche would disapprove of that. And, of course, an almost electric yellow romper adds to the sense that even the f***ing toy knows it's on display.
Come on in, Stanley. We were just talking about you.
I thought I felt my ears burning.
Maybe that cheap toupee you're wearing retains heat.
Loud, opinionated, blunt, but always loyal. The one that conjures a smile quickest and is most familiar to me is Sophia, having had ordinary Italian women around me for a good chunk of my life. At times, a paint-by-numbers stereotype, like a mob boss that happens to be elderly, and a woman. Drop her in the middle of Goodfellas, and I swear no one would think anything is out of place. Actually, she really should have been in Goodfellas. Biting, fierce, a little intimidating. And this is how she looked. Almost every episode. Almost every shot. I think you can count the number of smiles she cracks throughout the course of the entire show's run on one hand.
I'm so nervous. Have you ever given a eulogy?
You mean at a funeral?
No, Rose, at a pie-eating contest.
And lastly, there's Dorothy. Tough as nails and just as sharp as her mother. Cynical but compassionate. Her stone-faced delivery of dry one-liners and insults is absolutely iconic. B. Arthur is a national f***ing treasure. No one's replaced her either. Who's the new B. Arthur? And no one. There will only ever be B. That face. How perfect. Contempt. Tempered disgust. The sneer. To capture all that in a 7-inch figure? Amazing. And clearly, this isn't just some flash-in-the-pan 80s show that's only being kept alive by the older established fan base. No. The Golden Girls are strangely transcendent. I have literally never, and I mean never, met anyone between the ages of 20 and dead that hasn't seen the show and isn't a fan. Find someone that hasn't seen the Golden Girls. More challenging, find somebody who doesn't like it. And even though I still watch episodes of the show, because they're just good, my fandom stems from my earliest memories of the show. I grew up with 2 working parents, so extended family did a lot of the pitching in and helped raise my brother and me. A good majority of my aimless summer days were spent relaxing at my grandmother's or my great-aunt's house, with a short walk between them. These were 2 melodramatic, loud, cynical, and loving Italian women who suffocated us with toys, food, and premium cable. I'm talking HBO, Prism, Cinemax. Their 2 homes were Elysium, and they were only too happy to open the gates every time we came banging on the door. And 95% of the time, when I walked in, Dorothy's biting humor could be heard on the TV in the next room. With rare exception, I'd walk into the kitchen and find my grandmother hunched over the kitchen counter, puffing away on a cigarette and laughing her ass off at one of Sophia's epic burns of Blanche or Rose. A big chunk of my memories in their homes has dialogue from the Golden Girls or the theme song playing in the background. They loved that show. And even though the 10-year-old version of me never prompted an in-depth conversation with them as to why, I do feel it's because of a kind of vicariousness. But regardless, my great-aunt and her younger sister were huge fans of the show. And because I spent so much time with both of them growing up, I inevitably became a fan of the show as well. And still watch the show from time to time and inescapably springboard myself down memory lane. and get a bit too lost. Two sisters that were the very best of friends throughout their entire lives, with a bond that was pretty much unbreakable. So much, in fact, that when one of them left this world, the other one was less than 3 months behind. They were everything that one would hope a grandmother or a great aunt would be, but with a marked lack of enforced structure or discipline, i.e. I was spoiled, so I always felt like they were on my side, like real genuine friends of mine. If my brother and I had a gripe that we couldn't bring to our parents, or in fact needed defense from our parents, who do you think we were turning to? F***ing Grandmom or f***ing Aunt Marie. You never truly get over the loss of a loved one, but I was probably stuck in the acute grief stage longer than most. As the years passed, I even tried to pay tribute, or build something pleasant around my grief, depending on how you look at it, by making a comic strip about them. You know, to pay tribute, or, you know, be constructive with my depression. When it comes to reminiscing over the past, how much time and emotion should be invested? Barely any, because it can lead to a dark and painful place? Is it a keep it on the back burner of life kind of thing? In the microwave with a damp paper towel over it? Should you fill half your house with the shit from your childhood? A house, mind you bought mostly because it's close to where you grew up, so the house itself is part of the nostalgia collection. To each his own, I guess. For me, I can completely understand somebody thinking, this is going a bit far. Because, yeah, nostalgia is a delicate and sometimes indistinguishable dance between joy and pain. But for me, the risk versus reward is worth it. Even if a healthier outlook or look back has to be found at some point in the future. And that's another very important reason why the Golden Girls are so special to someone like me. They always ended up looking on the brighter side of things. And this is a show with aging being central to its foundation. They brushed off the bleakness and doomed nature of everything, the loss of loved ones, youth, health, and time, and brushed it off with a smile and wit. That's what makes them so inspirational to me. They're heroes, because they were able to do what I haven't fully figured out yet. Cherish the past, savor the moment, and look ahead to the future oh so gracefully.
I guess that was kind of a silly wish. I know you can't really be here with me, Charlie. It's taken me these past 8 months to accept that, but I finally have. Then why our usual little private birthday celebration? Somehow it feels less lonely, Charlie. I mean, this is the first special day I've had to spend without you. If it had been Christmas, I'd probably have hung your stocking. Or if it had been your birthday, I probably would have still asked the clerk down at Tuttle's to help me pick out a tie for you. Anyway, that was part of the reason. The other part was I wanted to talk to you. I know I didn't need a special occasion for that. It'd be more of an occasion if I stopped talking. But I figured since it was my birthday, you wouldn't be upset when you hear what I've got to tell you. I've decided to sell the house and leave St. Olaf, Charlie. The winters are rough here in Minnesota. And this place is too filled with memories to let me get on with my life. I need to start over without you, Charlie. And I think this is the best way. I know it'll be tough in a strange town, all alone, but I've read some wonderful things about Miami. It won't be long before I meet nice people and make some new friends. I have a real good feeling about that. So, I just wanted you to know what I decided. I hope to be in Florida before the next winter comes. But I know that wherever I am, you'll be right there with me. I love you, Charlie. I miss you. It's my birthday. You know the rules. I get the rose.
I suppose that a place filled with too many memories, or a place you intentionally fill with too many, and whether or not that can keep someone from moving on and living is a question everyone has to ask themselves at some point. Obviously, for me, the answer is very muddied and complicated. But I'm okay with that. And now that the last of the girls has left us, and the crushing weight of contemplations on mortality and future losses bear down yet again, I know why I have these. I know why I keep doing this. This basement is like a museum built to honor properties, franchises, and characters. But more importantly, the memories to which they're linked. Memories of the paradise that was childhood, where you were safe and provided for and surrounded by the people who loved you and worked hard to create that paradise. Back when your world was both cozy and small, and yet somehow boundless. When a sense of wonder veiled everything, and the time you had to explore that wonder was limitless. These four figures have as much of a right to crowd these shelves as anything else, because they keep those memories, and by extension, those people alive. Make no mistake, you lose everything. People, time, you can't change that. But at least you get souvenirs out of it all along the way. Do what you can to keep them vibrant. Don't let them fade. So thank you, ladies. Thank you for reminding me why I do this. Thank you for reminding me of the most special of times and the memories of my personal Golden Girls. And to the ornery sisters, who were two of the main architects of making my childhood everything that it was. Thanks for everything. And
thank you for being a friend.
Oh. Ah!
You have too much shit around here. You need to get rid of some of your shit. What? Oh, yeah. What, are you gonna cry? Are you gonna cry, little bitch? You like this? Huh? Boom! Suck it! Boom! Suck it!
That was good! That was good. Come on.
Suck it!
Yo, I just need you to do one word. Come on, babe.
Boom!
You don't have to do the boom. I already got the boom. Can you not laugh at the fucking end?
I